French international heavyweights up against a Racing side who start as heavy underdogs but believe that they are not just here to make up the numbers. Laurent Travers has been working all week to try and down Hugo Moller's all-conquering team this season. Toulouse indomitable at home. The only weakness they've had is perhaps been when they've been away and when they've been resting their big stars. But tonight, all those big stars are back, including Thibaut Flamand on the bench this evening. Romain Ntamack at number 10. Camille Chat will be trying to direct the Racing forwards. And it's a big night for Diallo as well. There is plenty at stake as Toulouse take on Racing. Our referee is Mathieu Reynal. And Jack Willis, well, he has had his star rising as well, along with Tom Willis, who he played against a couple of weeks ago for the first time in his career. We are all set, ready to go. Finn Russell has the ball in hand. We are ticking round, and we are already just a minute late for the kickoff. This only makes us anticipate the start further. Breathing out. All of those pre-match plans now waiting to be put into operation. Whistle goes, and the first semi-final is underway. So important that you get a good start, a steady start, get the basics right. And Antoine Dupont has his foot on the ball, ready for the first kick. It's a decent one as well. The chasers are after it, and it's well taken by Max Spring. The French fullback with the New Zealand father who moved to the part of the country in France just across the border a long time ago, and already Racing have managed to set a turn platform themselves. Well, last season, Castres set out their stall early on and they suffocated Toulouse. It'll be interesting to see whether Racing could do the same thing, bearing in mind their game philosophy is not really the same as the team from the Tarn. So we start off earlier with a kicking contest. Another high kick. That's going to go out, though, on the full. And a little mistake there, Johnny, early on there from the world's best player.
Uncharacteristic from Antoine Dupont. He looked cool as a cucumber as he took the field, but the kicking battle at the start of the game, neither side wanting to give away field position. A wonderful take by Max Spring. Initially, as you mentioned, his family just over the border in the Basque Country. The upshot is Racing now with a great chance to launch just on the 22.
And a launch first from a line out by Camille Chat is successful. Finn Russell gets his hands on the ball, and Henri Chauvency, the former captain of Racing, gets his hand on the ball for the first time, and it's been turnover ball already. Well, that's the kind of mistake that Racing can ill afford, particularly when they're in the red zone.
It's actually very well poached by Jack Willis. Daylight shown, wonderful contest, first phase as well. Great jackal by the Englishman. Gets his side out of jail. It's a poor kick by Dupont. The Englishman saved them. Tremendous turnover. They go back up to the halfway line. I think he'll tap his back row. Say thank you very much. Decent carry again by Chauvency. Two-man tackle. Jack Willis, though, just the speed to get into position early. See the clear out. Ficou arriving a little bit. This angle off, and you cannot afford Jack Willis any daylight on the ball. Great start to the game for the back row.
Camille Chat then with another chance to impress from the line out. It wasn't straight, but it was veering towards the Toulouse side, and they got the ball. And a chance for Arthur Retier to get his feet going. 25-year-old right wing, scored 5 trees this season. 4 tries in top 14. It's not perhaps too many for a wing. And there's a knock-on in the middle of all of that.
Turnover again. Richie Arnold, his turn to shine, the big Australian at the back of the lineup, gets up in front of Cameron Waukee and creates that carnage with a turnover ball. And again, if this had stuck, Mathis Lebel found a hole just outside guard. He was away. Just palmed down the knockover. They'll come back for the scrum.
Laurent Travers. We'll see Stuart Lancaster take over next season. This is a big moment for him, as it was for Gonzalo Quesada, actually, last week for Stade Francais. He leaves the other Parisian club after that defeat last week. A really brave effort with 14 men for 75 minutes of that game. But Racing in the end were handed a get-out-of-jail-free card. Whether or not Toulouse will be so generous is quite another thing. The first scrum will result in a free kick to Toulouse for engaging too early, and they've dropped it, but the referee is blown. Well, Juan Imhoff, who's been in great form of late, almost thought he might have a free run to the try line.
Taken quickly at the back by Dupont. It was actually Finn Russell that stuck his hand out and just gets in between the passing lane. Racing free kicked initially for going a little bit early at scrum time. That's an area that we'll watch with interest because they really battled last weekend against Stade Francais, even when they were down to 7 men. Whoa, great touch found as well.
Right on the 5-metre line. One could argue maybe that knock-on by Finn Russell might have deserved more than just the penalty. Wasn't really a genuine attempt to catch the ball. But it's a big opportunity early on, though. French international teammates up against each other. Julien Marchand, oh, and they've lost it. Terrific save there by Racing.
You see the look on the face of Ugo Mola. He knows, great contest by Cameron Walkie. His turn to get his own back, his steal at line out. But that's the quality we're going to see on show. There's 80% of the French squad involved today and tomorrow. Cameron Walkie, Richie Arnold as well for Toulouse. Tremendous line-out operators. It's going to be a difficult battle for them up front.
Starting to get more and more influential at number 8 as well now, Cameron Walkie. And a new move for him, for the former Union Bordeaux-Bègles man. This time they're on their way forward with the driving maul for Toulouse. Racing, though, trying to break it up, and they've done well. Dupont has to release the ball, and it's a little kick here from Romain Ntamak. Oh, it's just too far for Mathis Lebel. He was on his own on that far side, but he was just unable to get there in time to score what would have been another try this season. He's yet to get back to the sort of form that saw him really star in the last season. They won the title. Nobody in front of him, Johnny.
Oh, really nicely adapted by Romain Ntamak as well. You can see Racing, they spot blitz with their defensive line, which leaves that space on the outside. Obviously identified it earlier in the week. Mathis Lebel out in the open. Confident as well, they go to the corner, take this game by the scruff of the neck and challenge Racing.
So then reset, reload. It's another line out on the 5-metre line of Racing. Taken away. They have the ball. They've gone back, though, from where they started. Again, it's good defence by Racing, and there might be turnover ball in there as well. And there is, and not only that, a penalty. Racing, you said they needed to start off strongly and defensively, and they seem to be doing that at the moment.
They're certainly pumped up, whether it's turnover at line-out time. Smashing that collision area, big counter ruck. Gets them out their 22 again. Big moments for Racing early on. The initial take, again, it's scrappy because Racing contest hard. It's off the carry by Marchand. You can see the work of Walkie again, powering through that ruck. Ugo Mola knows how accurate you have to be, and you can see Paul Ignati getting in the face of Richie Arnold. This is going to be a confrontational battle.
Camille Chat, takes it short. Cameron Walkie there, nips in front. Manages to avoid going out. A little bit of a different variation there on the Racing 92 line out. Out by Le Garrec. Kick by Finn Russell. Off back to England for next season. That's gone forward, surely. It's picked up and back the other way. Mathis Lebel. There's an advantage as well being played, which looks like it's going to be affected unless Toulouse manage to come up with something rather innovative out of this ruck. Racing players just been warned about getting offside. So then the advantage for the knock-on is now finished. Up by Dupont. High, short. Chance here to come back on the Toulouse side, but they've knocked it on instead. Although Mathieu Reynal has not given a knock-on. Back it comes the other way. Strong hit there by Chat. Oh, there he goes again. Antoine Dupont in defence is just a monster. He's a pocket monster. One him off is hit hard as well. Out by Le Garrec, Camille Woki. One of the few French internationals who are likely to play a significant role in the World Cup later on. That looks like a knock-on as well. And it's been taken on. It's behind Lebel. And the referee will bring it back for the scrum.
Influence of Antoine Dupont again. Firstly, manhandling Baptiste Chusnu, the back rower, just back from a rib injury. As Melvin Jaminet watches on, and his second effort defensively to get back in line. The line speed he puts on Finn Russell, that encourages the handling error. Again, turnover ball can so easily result in a try with the speed that Toulouse have out wide, but you could just see Antoine Dupont again, the influence he has. Mathis Lebel knows how close that was.
Yeah, Melvin Jaminet, he was hoping he would be a big thing for Toulouse, but unfortunately he can't really compete with the likes of Thomas Ramos, who's really come up.
He also rolled his ankle about 3-4 weeks ago. Big ligament injury as well, so he's been on the sidelines. He'll still be hoping potentially to aim for that Rugby World Cup squad. Fabien Galtier is about to announce the extended squad.
Yeah, there's a squad of about 24 players who've been called up to Marcoussis for a squad training, which doesn't include, of course, any of the near 30 members that could well be in that squad who are on display this weekend. Of course, La Rochelle play tomorrow up against Union Bordeaux-Bègles. Toulouse and La Rochelle have 24 French internationals in their lineups alone. Ironically, Alexandre Roumat, who's the #1 choice at number 8 for Toulouse, is not in that equation for Fabien Galtier, and has never been in the French national squad to play. Which is a real misnomer, really, when you think about it. Kick forward by Racing. Oh, a good bounce as well. Very good bounce. Oh, my word. Brilliant. Well, it was just gone into touch. He almost had the perfect result there.
Scrappy again. It was another unforced error. Ball dribbling along the floor. It's Henri Chavancy. And that's been carried over. That's a line out for Racing as well. Huge turn. And also an encouraging scrum for them as well. We spoke about the scrum at the start of the game, but Racing scrum looking strong, going forward, pressurising Alex Roumat at the base. An help shot now. A line out on the 5-metre line. A massive opportunity.
Yeah, take it back. I thought the ball had bounced on the line, but it was actually Lebel who stood on the line. So Chat has it. And a big first attacking move here for Racing, but again, look at the defence from the 2021 champions. That driving maul for Racing is going nowhere except backwards. And now they've lost the ball.
Really well defended by Toulouse, under pressure as well. But their forward pack managing to affect that maul just as it hit the deck. You could see Arnold, Miafu, Cyril Bay. As soon as Chusnu hits the deck, you can just see that wave of red jerseys affecting this maul, taking it backwards. Once you dominate that initial momentum, it makes everything so much easier. You can filter through, get your hands on ball, take it to deck. Really good defensive set from Toulouse. The forwards will be delighted with that.
Well, they must have picked up quite a few tips in training in the week, because against Stade Francais, they were in awful trouble a lot of the time. So much stronger performance from them this evening already, although we're only 12.5 minutes in, so there's a long way to go. No score at the moment at the Agnates Stadium between Toulouse and Racing in the first semi-final of this season's Top 14 Championship.
Yeah.
Now, will the renewed vigour for Racing scrum help them here? It's a put-in, though, for Toulouse, and a push by Toulouse as well. They've turned it round, and Toulouse use their power to escape out of that rather dangerous position.
And that's a huge psychological boost for Toulouse. Initially, the forwards winning that turnover, getting the ball back, and then Dorian Aldegheri, the tight 5, doing that work. This is an area that we thought before the game Racing might struggle. Turnover on the 5 metre, scrum penalty on the 7. Easiest of exits, but domination by the Toulouse pack.
Well, Toulouse had a 4-day training camp in southern Portugal, in the Algarve. saying that they thought it would replicate the weather we would have here. I'm not sure that's quite true, actually. I'm not sure the weather in the Algarve all the way south like that is the same as here in the Basque Country, which is a very wet area in Spain. One probably the wettest. It's well done. Here come Toulouse, a little bit of a first phase move being carried out. Mathis Lebel is on it. Finally, Racing bring them down, recycled. Strong work, Aldeguerri. Tight head prop. Preferred to Charlie Farmina on the right-hand side of the scrum this evening. The veteran former All Black. A little bit ragged with the handling, but they've managed to still go. Argentine centre Santiago Chocobares. That's behind, though. The little bit of handling errors happening. They keep throwing the ball behind the man running onto it. However, they still have it into Richie Arnold, who seems to have developed his game even further since Rory left last summer, his twin brother. Dupont, almost brought down by Diallo. Out it goes to Chocobares again. He's trying to get away from the right wing, Donovan Tafafanua. And again, it's Max Spring who gets it, and well, both sides struggling to break each other down at the moment. Ramos. Team's kicker, but so good under the high ball, and he really does vacuum up all of those attempted attacks that are more direct from opposition. Dupont, short. Into the forwards, trying to drag in the Racing forwards, who are resisting that temptation. On their feet, defensive line intact. Dupont going for the kick. Again, it's a little short. They're waiting for it to come down. And there's a knock-on in there. I think that Racing will be delighted the way they're breaking up play for Toulouse. Huge pressure on Toulouse, particularly after the semi-finals in the last couple of years that they've reached and failed to get through, including that crushing defeat against Leinster in the semi-final in Europe.
And these are tough defensive sets as well. Toulouse with the strike play. This is a great bust by Jack Willis again, just strong, carrying hard yards, getting inside over the gain line. But Racing have been up to the task. This year they really struggled defensively, but they've scrambled really well. They may be missing, but they're sticking together. They haven't had any proper line breaks, offloads or tackle breaks against them so far, sticking to their task, forcing the turnover and then just kicking the ball back into Toulouse 22, asking them to play from deep. Really nicely poised.
There's a hum around the stadium with an awful lot of conversations taking place about what they're seeing so far. Racing maybe will take inspiration from the fact they're back in Spain, place where they won their last top 14 title, which ended a long wait for a French championship crown. Finn Russell will be hoping to leave the club on a high. It will be a really big high if they manage to down the team that was top in the regular season. Toulouse's season based very much on an indomitable home form. Only failed to win one of their games in all competitions. Emmanuel Meyer through there, he towers over everybody else in that scrum. It's no wonder that Fabien Galtier is still talking about him being part of his plans for the World Cup later on in the summer. Man mountain and a complete forward. Good handling skills, thunderous in the tackle, breaker of gain lines for fun.
And the question is, when does his passport arrive? Because the French national team, they still want him part of that World Cup squad. They've appealed to World Rugby. Bound to make his international debut at some point, but the question is, will it be at the World Cup or will it be thereafter? Potentially as Romain Tafafanua, Paul Valemsi move aside. Is he the next man to move into that number 5 jersey?
The Australian at the moment, but for how much longer? Good take. Toulouse trying to build another driving maul. Racing have been really good at repelling them so far in the game, and they look like they're doing a good job of stopping them once more here. So again, they have to give up on that particular tactic, and they race out again. Another good move. Mathis Lebel. Lebel going through. Lebel scores! Mathis Lebel does what he did against Cass last year and scores the opening try of the game. It's taken him an extra 15 minutes this year, but that was lightning from the lightningly quick left wing. Wonderful play, Johnny, and he breaks open the game with that line break you were looking for.
The noise in this place. It's the length of the pass by Intermac to eliminate some defenders, then the multi-option. Slight overread by Racing. They think the ball's going out the back to Intermac. Lebel pops up on the shoulder, and then his pace does the rest. Wonderful starter play by Toulouse. It's taken them 18 minutes, but they've cracked Racing 92 defensively.
Seventh try of the season in top 14 for a man who couldn't stop scoring the last time they won the title. And so a first attempt for Thomas Ramos, the fullback who takes all of the kicks, even when Romain Ntamack is playing. And he's almost guaranteed his place in the French national side because of his versatility at fullback and at fly half. Now then, can he complete this opening bout of scoring? Flags go up, and Toulouse have a 7-point lead heading towards the 20-minute mark. It's been a slow burner, Johnny, but they finally found the touch paper.
Well, this was perfect again. You can see Ntamack breaking out to the right. That just creates the space for Mathis Lebel to come through on a shoulder ball or a plus line and burst the defensive line, but that has ignited this crowd, the stadium. Absolutely berserk.
It does feel like there are a lot more Toulouse supporters in the crowd than Racing ones, although you can see them quite easily with the white and the red. Toulouse is around about a 5-hour drive from here. Obviously, Racing, coming from Paris, is a bit more of an organisational trek. Finn Russell feeds it out to Cameron Wackey. 3 men in front of the French international, back row forward or second row forward. He can do everything in those positions. Looks like turnover ball. Toulouse have managed to steal it back once more. Cyril Bay, number 1 loose head forward for Fabien Galtier's France, takes it forward. Arthur Retier plays scrum half, out by Ntamack. They're feeding along the line again. Peter Aki hasn't yet found a line to be able to break through yet, but just watch out, he will. Off go the runners once more. It's a better kick. Oh, it's brilliantly taken. Mathis Lebel there, brilliant. Back by Richie Arnold. Ramos looking for the corner. Arthur Retier sprinting after this one, but it's gone out. 5-metre line hit once more. And there is the second fly half on the pitch in Thomas Ramos. They have culture everywhere in this, but look at that catch by Mathis Lebel, the best kick we've seen so far in the game.
A great kick contest. I think it was Manny Miafu as well with the ball through the legs to keep the ball live, and Thomas Ramos spots the space in the backfield. You can see the appreciation from Richie Arnold. Just what you want as a big tight 5 forward. Put me in the right areas, let me contest. Force Racing to play out from their 5-metre. What a great piece of all-round play from Toulouse.
Yeah, as a forward, if you're going to have to run, you want it to be forwards. Picked up by Dupont. They've stolen the ball. Dupont up to the line. Not quite there. Camille Chat makes sure that they can't drive any further forward. Are they out there? Still short. Picked up by Willis. Willis goes down. Referee Monsieur Reynard is looking for it. He's not sure. And there's a timeout. He's going to go up to the TMO.
Okay, en avant, on revient là.
Oh, there's a knock on. So much noise in the stadium. I can't hear what he's saying very much.
He's saying there was a little knock-on in one of the collisions by Toulouse. They're coming back for the advantage. Racing were offside. Toulouse again looking to take the game to Racing.
Off we go again then. Still camping on the line, looking for the forwards to complete the second score. They might well have done, and they have. Emmanuel Meafou, of course, who has been in spectacular try-scoring form in the last few days, picks up another. And Toulouse are now beginning just to get a little bit of space. The man who could be a bleu is doing it all right in red. And it's a 12-0 lead for the 2021 Top 14 champions against the 2016 winners. And Racing, after a good defensive start, are now beginning to come under real pressure.
Manny Meafou just showing again why he's been so precious this season. So strong and powerful, close to the line. So phone calls from Eddie Jones and from Fabien Galtier. He's got the world at his feet, this young man. One of the best in the business. An absolute star in the top 14. And another try for the big man. He's ahead of Mathis Lebel. He's ahead of Antoine Dupont on the scoring charts for Toulouse this season. He's been an absolute phenomenon. And that's another one in the semi-finals.
7 tries in his last 12 appearances. He's absolutely come alive at the business end of the season. So Thomas Ramos from a bit further out this time, looking to make it 14-0. He's curled it round nicely inside the right post. Flags go up and Toulouse lead by 14 points to 0. Well, they're getting off to the start that they managed against Castres, but this time they are continuing it.
Alex Roumat's done really well again to take that. That's the second restart that his back lifters completely left him. But the ball handling skills, the technical ability to take the ball anyway.
Yeah, he's very much the first choice, number 8 for Toulouse. It's not quite that way yet. He's yet to convince any of the French national coaches in his career that he's worth a punt. That's a punt forward, straight into the arms of Finn Russell. Scotland's number 1 choice at 10 for the last 10 years or so, although he has fallen out on the occasion with the Scottish coach. Back in favour now, Max Spring. It's a bit of a wasted kick, perhaps. Thomas Ramos will pick it up and belt it back where it came, and this time he finds touch.
Yeah, Max Spring actually did really well, because after Finn Russell had sent that ball into midfield, Max Spring was all alone in the backfield. He's covering both sides of the field, covering a 50-22 as well. He's done well to scramble across, pick up that ball and send it back down the line. Racing still have a bit of field position and possession, though they haven't had their hands on the ball too often. 2 tries down already. They look to try and retain some possession here, pressurise Toulouse's defensive line, take the game to them if they can.
It's not a bad move, this, by Racing. They're trundling forward with the driving maul. Up by Le Garrec. Oof. Well, Lebel wants the referee to blow for that. He feels he was taken in the air. Toulouse have it. Mathieu Reynaud hasn't stuck an arm out yet. So forward it goes from Dupont. Cameron Wacky is underneath it. And perhaps not surprising, Mathis Lebel wasn't too keen on taking on the big number 8. Russell misses out to Gael Fickou. Matt Spring down the line, just before the 22. Keeps the forward momentum going. He would have liked it to be in a little bit longer. And they're taking it quickly. The referee, though, not happy.
L'alignement est fait. Il y a deux bleus, deux joueurs bleus. L'alignement est fait.
Peter Aki, the Tongan-born former All Black, there looking and hoping he was going to be able to take that quickly, but we're going to have a more set-piece routine to the line out. So Julien Marchand, the #1 pick for hooker for France, which is by no means a gimme when you consider how many good ones they've got in France, including his own teammate Mavaka, who's on the bench yet again today. Antoine Dupont showing great strength to stay on his feet. Arthur Retière will play scrum half because the World Player of the Year is at the bottom of the pile. Cyril Bay, no way through past Camille Chat. Dupont back up again. Richie Arnold.
Coming back, Monsieur Reynal in the preceding ruck just noticed a bad contact, bad clear out around the neck. Dorian Alderguerry being singled out. Racing straight to the corner. They want to strike back as soon as they can.
Yeah, that's a big error, that is, by Toulouse, because they've really given a great position. You can see there the on the neck roll by Alderguerry. So then a real opportunity here for Racing, and you get the feeling the way this first half has gone, they need to create something with this. They need a little bit of momentum. No points so far, it's not a good look. In by Chat, that's not bad. Set up the driving maul. Chat joins the back. He's got Fabien Sarkoudi with him as well, driving forward. They've gone down, out it comes. Finn Russell thought about the kick, cuts back inside, needs support, throws it anywhere. A little bit of panic, Johnny, in the middle of all of that, and the chance goes away.
He actually did really well initially just to ride the tackle, stay up and buy his team a couple of seconds. Toulouse again doing really well, using the touchline, squeezing Racing, forcing them to play. Long ball, does really well initially just to hold himself up, gain a half second, but didn't need to offload. Puts the men around him under a little bit of pressure. And that's 2 shots they've had on the 5-metre line, been defended well by Toulouse. They've come up with no points, and that's been the difference. Toulouse, 2 chances, 14 points. Racing, 2 attempts. On the 5-metre line, they've come away with nothing.
The ability of Toulouse to disrupt that first phase play, and Racing haven't been able to improvise after that to get it going forward again. Referee's not happy with the engagement of the front rows. Really intriguing battle between Bay, Marshall and Alderguerry, and Kurgashvili, Shah and Niakane, the South African tight head prop. They have been scrummaging better in this game of Racing. They were rather bullied about by the Pink Soldiers last weekend. However, it's a put-in for Toulouse. Half an hour gone, Toulouse 14, Racing nothing. Long kick this time from Dupont. Max Spring again is underneath it, really aware of where the touchline is. Back comes the full-back. He's put some real spin on that, and too much spin on it. It's gone out on the full, and that's a real mistake, and he knows it. They can't afford to do things like that, Johnny, if they want to really build some momentum.
He was just trying to be a little bit cute. He tried the banana option on the outside of his left boot. He's a really accomplished footballer as well, Max Spring. He'll be disappointed with that. He just had to kick the ball high in contest or long for field position and territory. Aim for something a little bit special, but the upshot is he's given 40 metres of territory back to Toulouse.
Well, he is a French international now, but a very new boy in that regard, and certainly not probably the #1 pick for the World Cup coming up. It might be just a little bit too early for him. Forward then comes Francois Cruz. Played across the back row in the Six Nations this year. France losing their Six Nations crown, but still doing enough to suggest they could come in. That's going to be a penalty. Looks like Dupont was taken down without the ball, and the referee instantly signalled.
Now they're coming back for the infringement. There was a ruck time, just diving off feet. At the ruck, Tomo Ramos just showing how sharp he is as well. He knew the advantage was there. Going for the kick rubber option. To try and catch Racing on the hop. It just doesn't come off. The backfield picks up the ball. He's just such a smart footballer.
Well, he's effectively a fly half who's playing at fullback, isn't he? So, I mean, he's got everything you need. And honestly, if it wasn't for Roman Ntamackers on the ball here, he would be the #1 pick at number 10. They are absolutely on the limit here defensively. I actually thought it was Dupont. It was actually Ramos who tried the break and got taken down.
The Racing just struggling to dominate a few collisions, but that's the quality of the Toulouse attack. Well organised, structured, coming at pace and power. Miafu getting them on the front foot with a decent carry over the gain line. And then the multi-option tip-on play, shifting the point of contact, not allowing Racing simple one-up collisions. Hard to defend against.
Nice Croatian handball cap there on a Toulouse fan, as Thomas Ramos lines up his first penalty kick of the game. And it's gone the same way as the two conversions that preceded it, through the middle of the post. And Toulouse now are making this a very uphill battle for Racing as they lead by 17 points to 0. Ominous signs this, Johnny, for Racing as we head towards half-time. Racing, despite their bravery, have not really accomplished very much.
They haven't, but they've had essentially the same number of opportunities. That's the frustrating point. They've spent effectively the same amount of time in opposition 22. Toulouse have capitalised and been clinical. Racing have come up with nothing, and it's cruel when you look at the scoreboard now. 33 minutes gone, 17-0. It's going to be very difficult for Racing. They need to score quickly, get themselves a foothold in this game.
Well, in the last 10 years or so, Racing have never finished top of the pile, although they did win the title back in 2016 when they finished 4th in the regulation part of the season. Toulouse have finished top in that period 4 times. And they picked up a few more titles in that time as well, including back-to-back titles in 2011 and 2012. Ball in the possession of the sky blue and white. Lord Garrick feeds it out into the path of Sarkonis. Shot hit hard by Miafu. Stays on his feet though and keeps it going into the loose head forward. Guram Gogashvili, the Georgian. Back inside, that's better from Finn Russell. That's the kind of movement we want to see from him. And there's also from Nolan Le Garrick. Gogashvili once more. The power returns. Little kick over the top, this time from the scrum half. It's been touched by Ramos. Backwards though, and he gets rid of it, and I think that's frustrated Johnny next to me, that they gave the ball away quite like that. They come back again from the halfway line. Kick back over the top from Finn Russell, and he's hit into touch again. Oh dear, they need to find some poise in this game.
Incredibly fine margins again. It's just not come off for Finn Russell. But it goes to the last phase again. They're trying to offload the ball, keep it alive, keep Toulouse on the back foot. In the end, it's Le Garrick that just decides to give the ball back to Toulouse, to go back to that kicking option. But you just hope for Racing that they have a little bit of faith in themselves. They want to retain some possession, hold on to the ball, impose themselves. Because at the minute, getting to max phase 3 or 4 and just kicking the ball back.
Coming up tomorrow, La Rochelle against Union Bordeaux-Bègles. That will also be live here from the Annota Stadium. You're very much so involved here in what has been a demonstration so far of taking your chances from Toulouse. There's a knock-on, and it's another mistake from a Racing man, and it's a scrum to Toulouse.
It's a big defensive intervention again. This time it's Arthur Retière, I think. Turnover from line-out. Gogijashvili does really well to straighten the ball up. Give his side something to attack from. It's a little bit lateral. Toulouse stick together. It's Retière that steps in, strips the ball in the tackle.
Allez, en place. On joue après.
Great turnover by the winger.
Yeah, Tafa Fanua letting the ball go as Wenceslas Lore watches on from the sidelines.
You can see the frustration because the most positive part of Racing's season has been their attack. When they get through multi-phase, they really challenge. They're difficult to contain, but they're just coming up with errors far too easily and dropping the ball back to Toulouse. Now at 37 minutes, and I can't really remember Racing getting through multi-phase, stretching Toulouse too often.
That's a nice push by Racing. A little bit better in the scrum, and Toulouse were forced to use a little quicker than they perhaps wanted to. Mistake there, Peter Aki trying to offload. And then there were knock-ons on both sides.
Really nice initial burst by Peter Aki. Just drops the shoulder, bumps Finn Russell. Offload just doesn't stick. Choco Barras knocks the ball on. But that is the quality. Peter Aki, one of the best centres in the top 14, one of the best finds as well I think we've ever seen at Toulouse. Phenomenal talent, former Sevens international, freakish ability, wonderful feet, great distributor as well, explosive power in spades.
He started all 12 of his appearances this season. He's only scored one try though. That was in the semi-final of the European Cup against Leinster, which didn't ultimately end well for the French Giants. Losing for the second year in a row to the Irish Giants, who then went on to lose for the second year in a row to the Giants in yellow of La Rochelle. Anthony Gelange still on the bench. That's a big miss for Toulouse. Anton Dressler there with the long hair. One of those who is injured for Racing.
Yannick Nyanga in front of him, Christian Wade next to him as well. A few of the players out injured. Bernard Leroux as well, still long-term with a head knock.
Yeah, Yannick Nyanga, a legend for Racing, now their sporting director. So then, Nolan Le Garrec gets a chance here to put the ball into a scrum. It feels like all the scrums have been for Toulouse so far in the game, but this is better. Le Garrec darts off and he can be really evasive, and he's given the ball away. Toulouse get it back once more. Arthur Retière, no room to kick, so brings it into close quarter. The support is instantly there to back him up. Out by Dupont. Into Marchand, the hooker.
It's another chance for Racing. That's gone a begging. Another centre field scrum. Nolan Le Garrec chooses to attack, makes decent ground, but the offload just doesn't stick. It's another turnover, coughing the ball back straight up to Toulouse.
And dropped by Max Spring. Toulouse have it. We're coming up to the final minute of the half, and the mistakes keep coming from the side from the capital. There's going to be a big talk at half-time, I think.
It's this piece of play, step off the left is good. He tries to find Cameron Walkie. It's the most horrendous ball to give back to Toulouse's backline because the firepower they have, Roman Intermac, Retière out wide. And I think when they get into the sheds at half-time, their conversation must be, you know, scrum are in the game, our line-out's functioning, but let's hold on to the ball. Let's throw something at Toulouse and test them, because at the minute, they haven't managed to fire a shot.
It must be so frustrating because the platform is there, but they're not really capitalising upon it. They've created their chances, not taken them. Toulouse, by contrast, as you said, they've had their chances too, and they've taken them, pretty much. 3 scores, 2 tries, 1 penalty, and there goes the half-time hooter. Just one more piece of play to go, because we were going to set this scrum before we reached 40 minutes. So we will see this. This will be the last piece of action, barring a penalty. Well, last week we saw an interminable amount of time added on at the end of Racing's game with Stade Francais before they conceded a penalty try. They'll be hoping not to do that this time. The scrums are happening a little bit further away from their try line this time in time added on. And it's a penalty, though, to Toulouse, so they've got a free hit here. So they'll either score or we will have another piece of play. Out comes Dupont. Bit loose. Peter Aki, though, little kick through. He knows that he can do this because they'll come back anyway. Max Spring, or Jan Imhoff takes it into touch, but they will come all the way back for the penalty at the scrum.
Here's Goram Gogishashvili again, that's been pinged. And this gives Toulouse a pot shot at 3 on the stroke of half-time.
I thought he held up 5 fingers there, bizarrely. But surely they'll go for the 3. Yes, the referee signals for the post. If they get this, then it'll be 20 unanswered points in the first half. Rather vacant look, and Finn Russell has been blowing his lips out quite often in this first half, the Scottish international fly half. So Thomas Ramos with the final piece of action inside this wonderful stadium. It sits in a kind of bowl here in San Sebastian on the coastline. The pitch is actually quite cool. It's pretty hot where we are up in the gods, but down at pitch level it's actually not bad, which will be good for the players. So Ramos. He's been good so far. That's looking pretty good again. It's straight through. It's been a Ramos show of kicking in the first half. 2 tries for Toulouse in the first half as well. No tries, no points at all for Racing. And at half-time in the first semi-final of the top 14, it is. Antoine Dupont leads Toulouse back onto the field. Everything went well in the first half. It was exactly what Ugo Mola would have asked for. Not only they scored the points, but they stopped Cameron Woki and co from getting any points. Romain Ntamak comes back onto the field with ball in hand, ready to get us underway for the second half. And well, it's a big ask for Racing, but top 14, the beauty of it is that one side can dominate a half and then the other side comes back. There's that strapping we were talking about on the left knee of Miafu. I wonder how long he will last into this. They probably wouldn't make him last for too long, bearing in mind that they will be banking on him being a starter for the final, assuming they get there next time. Off we go, second half. Toulouse leading by 20 points to nothing. It's Ibrahim Diallo who makes the first catch of the second period for Racing. First thing they need is a good escape from this kickoff. So important to get the first thing right, set the platform. Noel Le Garrec is looking for the ball underneath his own players. And Dupont says that ball is out and rushed him. Le Garrec gets it away just in time and makes it up to just before the halfway line.
And the fact that it's rushed meant that it hasn't been a particularly long clearers kick, just up to the 30 again. Diallo taking the ball back. Big collision again from Manny Miafu, doing what he does best and smashing people. But Dupont hustling again, forcing Le Garrec to hurry his kick.
Marchand, accurate, and then gets the ball back again. The first phase move off the training ground in operation. Looking to get the ball moving quickly. Ruma. Dupont into Cyril Bay, tries to make a little move around Fabien Sanconi. Racing have done well there to stop that, and they might even have got the ball. Turnover ball for Racing. Good start to the second half here for the men in sky blue and white. Kick forward, he gets a good bounce. Picked up by Romain Ntamak. And he sends it back from whence he came. Max Spring can't stop it going from behind the board, which means that there will be no quick line out.
Nice launch play again, multi-option. Testing the Racing defensive line. Diallo, so good with his chopping. Another dominant collision that allows Kamisha to get his mitts on the ball. Decent jackal again. Positive start for the hooker and for Racing as Emile Ntamak watches on.
Toulouse put 30 points plus past Racing in both games this season in the regular season. They are heading that way again, only 10 points away once more. Racing desperately need to be the next team to score. Ramos manages to get that ball All counter-ruck. And Racing have it. Nicely done, feeding in to the forwards, out by Le Garrec. Le Garrec once more, Finn Russell. Miss-out move and goes past Walkie. This is better from Racing, their best move of the game so far. 10 metres from the line. A little bit of a spring in the step at the beginning of the second period. Phenomenally the away side tonight in Racing. Russell, a wild pass once more. Well retained. Momentum still there. Le Garrec, Russell once more, looks like he tries to get through the gap, but they are not falling for that little move from the Scottish international, and Diallo's knocked it forward. And once again, a chance within 10 metres of the line goes begging.
Much more positive for Racing though. Keeping the ball, attacking that line. Their first real opportunity as well to get to the defensive edge. Create a 3-on-2. Shoes now that battles down the far touchline. And they win a penalty from it, but really encouraging for Racing, starting the second half with much more promise.
Well, not surprisingly, they're going to go for the corner.
Thibaut Flamand, big impact he'll have off the bench as well. First real game back.
So they're taking the tap and go. Camille Chash dropped it, would you believe it? First impact and the ball pops out of his grasp. And another chance goes. That's a big disappointment for Racing here.
Just shows the quality of that collision, targeting the ball. Jack Willis again. There's the 3-on-2. Chavancy did really well to fix his man. Chusnu attacks the space. But Toulouse again coming up trumps defensively, targeting the ball on Camille Chaz's ball carry, dislodging it, forcing the knock-on. It's Dorian Aldergeri again, the tight head gets the slaps on the back from his mates, and here comes the cavalry for Racing. These boys will need to make a big impact now. Looks like almost the entirety of the bench being unloaded as well. Laurent Travers seen enough. Wants to roll the dice.
Yeah, Wenceslas Laurie amongst those who is about to come on as the scrum collapses. There's a few shoulders dropping already on the Racing side. They need to stay in this. It's difficult though when you're playing Toulouse, particularly when Toulouse seem to be as up for it as they are at the moment. Tough side to break down. They brought all the big guns into this one. They've done a much better job of managing their heavy hitters this season than perhaps they did at the end of last season.
Flexion.
6 substitutions are about to be made. When you consider there's only 7 on the bench, Laurent Travers has decided that he needs to change things drastically. Pushed by Toulouse. And a penalty to Toulouse for turning the scrum. Another moral victory for the men in red and black.
Another moral victory, and that bench about to be unloaded. 6 substitutions on 45 minutes. The entirety of the front row, Tarit, Benarous, Gomet, Sa will all come on. Boris Palu, Wenceslas Laurie, Francis Saili as well for the back line.
Essentially, though, a new pack will be coming on. And it's because Toulouse are getting the upper hand. It's good competition, but Toulouse just getting that little bit of movement forward, and Jack Willis delighted with Cyril Baye and Ibrahim Diallo. Beginning to wonder what they can do, and Emmanuel Meafou is going to come off, and Thibaut Flamand is about to come on. Perhaps not surprising, he was being strapped up at half-time, as we say. Thibaut Flamand is hardly a second-rate substitute to bring on.
Oh, he's top drawer, absolutely top drawer. This is his first game back as well since taking a knock in that semi-final loss against Leinster.
So then the substitutions all made as well for Racing. back underway. Jack Willits, or rather, it is Marchand who comes off the back of that ruck. Similar hairstyle, slightly different build. High ball, that's out on the full. Well, Imhoff wanted to get on with it, but there's a problem on the far side there for Dorian Aldegheri.
All Black prop Charlie Famaina on the bench as well, ready to go. This will be his final season at Toulouse. Absolute legend of the game as well.
Yeah, 36-year-old ex-All Black, four-time Rugby Championship winner and a winner of the 2015 Rugby World Cup. Julien Marchand will be hoping to be the winner of the 2023 World Cup. Racing, though, have stolen the ball. Piatu Mavaka is the replacement hooker, as he usually is for the France #1. Toulouse boasting the two best hookers, according to Fabien Galtier, in the land. Now then, with a bunch of new forwards on, what can Racing do with this? Le Garrec, high ball this time, it's one for the backs. Well, it's come back the other way, though. And pings back again. Oh, Thomas Ramos, what a line this is from the fullback. Oh, beautiful. Away comes Romain Ntamack. Ntamack on the run. Another one of those bursting runs from the French international standoff half. Got his head hit as he went down, but he manages to recycle. Dupont. The forwards getting involved. Lovely stuff. Thibaut Flamand immediately into the action. Dupont, missed pass out to that far side. Retière, no way through. Finn Russell amongst the tacklers. Dupont once more. Archie Arnold and over. Alexandre Rouma, maybe putting Toulouse out of sight in this semi-final with a wonderful score that virtually the whole team touched on the way there. The champions from 2 years ago, acting like champions now. And they are stretching off into the distance, Johnny.
And that is Jus à la Toulousain. As they say, Thomas Ramos again. Burns Nolan Le Garrec. And the damage is done. Creates the 3-on-2. The space is there for Ntamack to straighten up. He could have given this ball to Mathis Lebel. But the ball is recycled, and this piece of interplay by the forwards again. 4 of them touching the ball. Passes before the gain line, after contact. And the ball over the top by Dupont. And as it comes back again, 5 of them looking to attack the ball as Richie Arnold takes the ball to the line, drops it off to Alexandre Rouma.
Thomas Ramos then hasn't missed anything so far. Oh, and he hasn't missed that either. It looked like it was going to squeeze wide and then just came back inside once more. A wonderful team try.
Could have very easily gone the other way as well. Max Spring looking to keep the ball live, but it's just that missed tackle by Le Garrec, and you find yourselves 80 metres down the other end of the field defending against the side that plays so well around the defensive line, through it as well, shifting that point of contact. Lovely rugby.
And a 5th try of the season for Alexandre Rouma. It's hard to really understand why he's never really attracted international attention. They love him at Toulouse.
I think he's just seen classically as a 7 in France. So your 7 in France is your man that calls the line out, aerially very good, technically gifted, but maybe not quite as physical. You look at the people ahead of him in that pecking order. Doesn't look good for Julien Marchand. Let's hope he's okay for the World Cup and for potentially the next round next week. But for Alex Roumat, there's just so many people. Anthony Gillon, Francois Cros, slightly more physical.
Racing, though, with a chance to come back immediately, and boy, they need to come back with something. Nice move by the outside centre, Gaël Fickou. They need some inspiration from their captain, or even maybe from Finn Russell, and a beautiful take with one hand by the full-back Thomas Ramos, who's having a fantastic outing tonight.
How easy has he made that look? Dropping over the back of his shoulder into his dead ball area. That is just outstanding.
Didn't make anything of it afterwards either, just a regulation catch inside his own try line with the line, the dead ball line coming up. Simple as you like. It's going to be a scrum on the far side. Emmanuel Merfou seems to be overheating. Antoine Gibert is about to come on. They're looking for a creative half-back spark somewhere.
The question is, where does Antoine Gibert come on? Does he come on for Nolan Le Garrett, who looked like he copped a bit of a bang to the head 5 minutes ago, or is it for Finn Russell at 10? Antoine Gibert can play both 9 and 10, equally comfortable.
It'd be a shame if it's for Finn Russell, wouldn't it? He's not had his... If this is his final game for Racing, it's not been a great one. It's been a little bit... for a man with so much creative genius, it's been a little bit loose tonight from the Racing number 10. Scrum time. Well, it will be eventually, as the referee gets a little bit frustrated with the two front rows. Piatu Mavaku has come on for Marchand, unsurprisingly, whilst he has his right shoulder attended to. Laurent Travers there with a look on his face that's like, what do we do next? Because if this doesn't work, he's already sent on the cavalry. Hugo Moller never really gives an awful lot away. He never looks totally happy either, even when his team is dominating. I'm going to ask you in a minute, Johnny, what on earth Racing can do to turn this around, but at the meantime, well, it seems like a good time to ask you.
Well, they need to keep their heads, firstly, going early at scrum time, giving away another cheap penalty. It's an interesting phase for Racing as well as a club, because they're clearly in transition. If you look back at that side that won at the Nou Camp, nobody really there now, apart from Henry Chavancy. Finn Russell leaving the club at the end of the season. Marcus Smith rumoured to be coming in potentially as a replacement. Stuart Lancaster as well will want to stamp his own mark on how this team plays and how they evolve over the next few seasons. The game's not completely gone yet, but it just looks like deflated. They just need the leaders to bring them in, reset again. It doesn't matter. Attitude is the next action. What can we do that's positive? What can we do together to get ourselves on the front foot and keep building on that positive momentum? That's what they need to do. Simply, we saw early at the start of the second period, when they retain ball, they look dangerous. They can still do that.
Change of props for Toulouse. As Cyril Bay and Dorian Aldegheri go off and replaced there by Rodrigue Nietti and Charlie Faumina.
I explained to you, I penalize the jumping across. So when you land in the opposite side, it's a penalty kick, okay?
Yeah, you're not allowed to jump across in the line out onto the opposite side.
It's just the errors compounding, though. Scrum penalty, 5 metre, that brings them up to a line out on their 40, jumping across the line. Another penalty. You're now back potentially in your 22, defending a launch play. It's just so simple. But you have to be so tight when you're playing against Toulouse, A, with your discipline, but when you have the ball, more importantly, you have to be effective. And sadly, they haven't. In the first 55 minutes, they haven't been effective at all.
Doing all the simple things well, that's what Toulouse have built their legacy on. It wasn't always this way. Hugo Moller didn't get off to the best of starts, but the club stuck with him. And it's just a measure of what can happen if you can see past initial disappointment. Long one taken by Chocobares, the Argentine centre. Here they come again, Richie Arnold. Richie Arnold hoping to get into the Australian World Cup squad. He doesn't have a big history with the Wallabies. Could end up taking his own brother's place in it. Farmina gets his first touch. Thibaut Flamand will surely be in the French squad when they host the World Cup later in the year. Almost up to the 5-metre line again. Roman Ntamack going into a horde of Racing forwards. Brave man. Dupont looks the other way. Ignores Roma. Goes to Ramos instead. Digging for it. Oh, they're through! Arthur Retière finds a hole, springs the trap, and sends Toulouse further and further towards next week's date in the final with either La Rochelle or Union Bordeaux-Bègles. They are waltzing away with it now, are Toulouse. Racing completely helpless to stop the red and black juggernaut.
It's a really nice piece of play again. It's Antoine Dupont. The communication, the inside ball. Known worldwide as the Gregan ball. But draws out Paul Ignati, drags him away from guard. Flings the ball back into space. You can see the delight on Arthur Retière's face. Creative, executed extremely well. The sad scenes in the background. It looks like Richie Arnold's going to have to leave the field. The collision to the knee. But Toulouse now walking away with this game. 4 tries, 32 points up.
Well, Retière hasn't had a great season for try scoring. It's only his 5th in top 14 this season. Ramos should have no trouble with the easiest kick he's had all night, and doesn't. And they are back over 30 points again for the 3rd time this season against the sky blue and white. This semi-final really is over.
I guess the one concern for Toulouse is Manny Miafu off with a strap knee. Richie Arnold as well, limping down the tunnel below us, not looking happy.
Yeah, Richie Arnold has had to go off in a final injured before. He doesn't want to have that happen to him again at the business end of a season. Plenty of backup though. Oh, Jack Willis has let that one go into the arms of Wanimov. He's made up for it though by wrapping up the Argentine. Racing though keep possession. Out by Gibert. That answers your question. He's come in at scrum half. Richie Arnold has gone off. Alban Plessine has come on to replace him. Gibert. Racing fighting for every single inch of turf they're going forward. And they're not going forward very fast. Trying to send Cameron Waukee through. Better from Racing. Oh, surely the overlap here. Chose not to take it. And then they've shut it out. And it's Gibert now. He's only just come on. And now he is making the same mistakes that the rest of the team have been making throughout the game.
Coughing the ball back up again. Racing doing well to spark though, creating another 3-on-2. I think it was Donovan Taufnua probably could have given the ball outside him on a 2-on-1, and there is the knee. Ice pack, bandaged, compressed. Richie Arnold, fingers crossed for him next week. That's not too bad. Well, that's another occasion for Racing where they've made their way into the 22, even to the 5-metre line. And they've binned the ball again. Another turnover.
And now Roman Ntamack is having the magic spray on a knee as well. Well, it's a very different semi-final from the one they experienced last year against Cast, who managed to keep a lid on them for the entire game. Racing have done no such thing. Jack Willis is coming off. And Taufnua is coming on.
Silavasio Tolofua, he'll make his way down to Toulon at the end of the season as well. Along with Yuyut, 2 of the back rowers that are making their way down to the Rad.
Yeah, Toulon were very disappointed not to make it into the top 6 this season. They had a very outside chance in the last day, but they really needed a couple of miracle results for them to stop Lyon taking the final 6th place, which didn't happen. Lyon, of course, beaten last week by Union Bordeaux-Bègles, who you'll see against the double European champions La Rochelle tomorrow afternoon. Kick-off at 5 p.m. local time, Central European time. It's down to pride now, really, for Racing. They will want to score. They've lost the ball there, and the referee sees no problem with the turnover, and back it comes again. 1 step forward, 2 steps back continually through this game for the men from the capital.
It's actually a really nice turnover by Francois Cosse again. Back heeling that ball through the contact.
Back in by Toffa Fanua. Max Spring trying to burst through. Gibert picks up, but again, it's untidy ball. Trying anything at the moment. Spring, Dupont won't let him go. As usual, won him off. They could do with a spark of genius from their Argentine left wing. There's been a few attempts at waving the wand, but none of them have actually created any magic. Gibert dropped. There wasn't a great ball for Finn Russell. However, this is better. Breakthrough there by Sadati Gomez-Sarr, the replacement tight head prop. Cameron Rocky takes up the charge. Gibert back out wide once more. Little kick again, and too easy for Toulouse, and away from Mathis Lebel, and all of a sudden they're running back towards their own half. Well, we talked of panic earlier. It's that Boris Palou who's on the deck.
Great initial break by the replacement prop. Great athleticism as well to break the line. You just had the feeling the numbers on, it's 3-on-3 with the 4th man on the outside. Just hold the ball, take the ball to the gain line, ask some questions. That's a 1 in a million crossfield kick option that rarely comes off unless it's bang on the money and called for to space. When you lift your head up like that last minute and stick it on the boot, it rarely works.
There's been Tim Nanai-Williams comes on. There's been an awful lot of good starts to moves from Racing, but they just haven't been able to just keep them going. Roman Entomac, not surprisingly, gets a generous round of applause and is replaced by Tim Nanai-Williams, who is a very capable understudy. That's Toulouse ball. Back they come again. Peter Aki trying to take advantage of some tired defenders now. Little run by Tolofua. Thibaut Flamand is slotted right back in again. Farmina.
Il n'empêche pas le plaquage.
Another chance at the break from Nanai-Williams. It's his first touch since he came on. Recycled once more. Ruma, well tackled, this time by Sadate Gomez-Sarr. And they've managed to rip the ball away for once. A little mini victory there for Racing, of which there have been precious few in the game. Would it be harsh to suggest that hasn't been an obvious plan from Racing in this game, or is it just they've not been able to effectuate?
Look, I think they've gone from maybe in the past decade having massive power in their team and big players. I think the whole of the French top 14's in transition, where it's less about power, it's about organisation. How do you create space by being organised off the ball? And it just looks like they haven't quite fired the shots when they've had possession, but they haven't quite had the power either to bust the gain line and create space out wide. So a combination of the two, add to that horrible conditions, humidity, and the amount of balls that hit the deck for them with unforced errors. It's just been a bit of a nightmare, 65 minutes for them.
Toulouse, though, have managed to avoid those kinds of mistakes in the same conditions. Katu Mavaka has come on and has done a pretty good job there with finding Thibaut Flamand. With a long kick downfield for Max Spring. He will run it back. He's managed to get past Lebel. It's still going, Max Spring. He can find holes that others can't when given the chance, but there have been virtually no holes None that have lasted very long, at least, against Toulouse this evening. Still, they struggle, but they're deep inside their own half. No kicking now, it's just run it forward. Tolofua over the halfway line. Gibert. Again, it's not a good pass. That was dropped surely by Finn Russell. The whistle took a long time in arriving, and the Scot thought maybe he could even carry on, but that whistle came in the end.
The initial piece of play, fantastic. Double pump on the ball by Finn Russell, draw defenders in. The ball to Saili out wide, who does really well to bust up the open side of the field, but it's simply, again, the conditions, humidity on the ball. The pass from Gibert to Finn Russell at his feet. It's a knock-on, it's another attack that's come to nothing.
Well, the ovation you can hear is for the hero of Toulouse. They have a lot of heroes, but this man is probably the emblematic hero for them of the red and black. Another scintillating game from Antoine Dupont. Not so much the individual brilliance this time from him, but just the oil allowing others to start.
Well, look, he's a hero in Toulouse, he's a hero in France, and to be honest, if you're talking about heroes in our sport in general, the boy's top of the pile. He's an absolute phenomenon. One of the global superstars now in our game, and his job's done. 34 points up. He gets a rest for the next 15 minutes and gets to look forward to a final against Racing, against La Rochelle, or Bordeaux, sorry, next week at the Stade de France.
Plenty of energy in his legs as well. If you remember last year, he looked tired in the game against Castres. Arthur Retière, who will take over at scrum half. No way through there for Salvatio Tolofua. Still another 13 minutes to go. I mean, Toulouse here could keep on going. It's a very different game to the one we commentated last week between Lyon and Union Bordeaux-Bègles. It was back and forth all the way until the last seconds of that game. Union Bordeaux-Bègles take on the might of La Rochelle tomorrow. And knock on by Toulouse, and a scrum to Racing.
Yeah, the Racing boys weren't happy with that collision in there from Tintin Williams. It's just been a step too far for them.
Cameron Rocky is walking to the touchline as the Toulouse fans celebrate. Don't think there's any doubt now that they are on their way to another final. It'll be their 30th final in the history of the club in the French top flight. They have won the majority of those showpiece events. And Racing have managed to get down to the 22 again. Proud Basque flag waving alongside all of the other Racing flags behind those posts. Goes to the back, and again they've lost the ball. Toulouse just imposing their will in every aspect of the game.
Yannick Tariq, the man that was at Navarre last year, lost his head as well. The throw quality not there. Misses his man at the tail, then compounds his error by coming around the side of the ruck, gives away another penalty. And Racing will be forced to defend another wave of Toulouse attack.
The nearest he's managed to get to the French national side is the French Barbarians. Antoine Gibert, not the first Racing man to put his head on his hands, or his hands on his head, even in this game.
It's going to be really interesting for Stuart Lancaster, because they've got the bare bones of a very exciting team. They've got a stadium that's fantastic to play at as well, with at times a great brand of rugby, but they're going to have to become more robust, more solid generally. And with a big budget, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Stuart Lancaster as well to come in and do a decent job.
And they've got some good players coming in next season as well, the likes of Sia Kolisi, the South African legend, And Clovis Lebay coming in from Pau, James Hall from Stade Francais at scrum half, Tristan Tedder from Perpignan, and Joshua Tuiasova from Lyon. So there's plenty to work with when next season gets underway, but this season looks like it's now over for them. It's a good kick down to the corner, though. Back it comes the other way, though. Nane Williams gets a hole, and off he goes. Oh, he's up to halfway, and another chance. Oh, they're queuing up here. Surely another try. Not the best tackle, but look at that. Oh, my word, what a star Thomas Ramos is. Ruma stays on his feet. Oh, and then in the end, they give the ball away, and Racing come away. There are players down all over the pitch, and Racing run away. And they finally get on the board. Their captain finally gives them something to cheer. The French international, Gaël Fickou. It means they won't get a wooden spoon score at the end of the game, but that's about as good as it's been for the entire game. And it all came off the back of some scintillating play from Toulouse that they just couldn't quite finish off.
That's the body language from Racing, refusing almost to continue that kick chase, but they get the interception, they get one try back. There are bodies scattered all over the field with exhaustion. Interception by Chuznu. Offload as well, pops up to Gaël Fickou. He runs the length.
Well, Gaël Fickou will be a teammate of a number of the players that he's up against today. He gets a little bit of a personal satisfaction having scored in the semi-final, but I doubt very much he'll get very much from it. Arthur Retière is back on his feet, looking quite winded.
He's got the joy of playing 60 minutes on the wing and then being introduced to scrum half as well. Oof. It's just that challenge by Finn Russell, letting him know he was there once the ball's gone.
So no hands, isn't it? It's very close to being one. Oh, he manages to, he probably gets his arms around him eventually. Well, with Romain Ntamack off the pitch, well, Thomas Ramos will take over the kicking. He's had a fantastic game. I'll ask you for a man of the match in a few moments' time, so have a little think about that, Johnny. Although, apparently you don't need to have a think about it. Diallo, one of the few forwards that's still on the pitch for Racing. Starting to throw the ball around with a little bit more purpose. Good tackle by Lebel. And he's ripped it away as well. Back by Ramos, who's none too happy with Gibert. A little bit of a pushing match going on between the two backs. Meanwhile, Finn Russell has it, and he's trying to find a hole. Good offload. This is better stuff from Racing. It's come a little bit late. Maybe Toulouse just relaxing a little bit as well is helping them back into it.
Yeah, Diallo's just gone off his feet again. Another penalty for Toulouse. The penalty stats must be high. I mean, you're talking 15 to 20 now.
And the knock-ons as well, similarly high for Racing. Away by Ramos. Just over 7 minutes to go of pain and heartache. And maybe a little bit of embarrassment as well for Racing tonight. They have not come out functioning. Finn Russell can't believe it. The whole team, though, has just been a little bit off pace. Movaka looking around at the referee, wondering whether or not Racing players are offside. Russell. Oh, nice burst, one Imhoff. One Imhoff is off again, and Imhoff is going. Can he get away? Oh, it's a magnificent tackle. They're still coming forward, but that's well stopped by Toulouse. One Imhoff nearly ran the length of the pitch. All of this is coming far too late.
Wonderful footwork again by Winimoff. Bouncing off the left. The cover tackle. And the work rate by Tim Nanai-Williams, though. Absolutely outstanding. And what about this for follow-up? Luca Tozan. Huge collision.
Winimoff, who scored the first try against Stade Francais last week in the barrage, hasn't really had a sniff so far up till that point of adding another score. Even at this point, though, the defence is absolutely on the money from Toulouse.
Flexion. Lié.
Incidentally, Tim Nanai-Williams, one of those who will be leaving at the end of the season, along with Charlie Farmina, Savasio Tolofua, Martin Pajrallo, the scrum half, and Yannick Yayute as well, the up-and-coming third row forward who's off to Toulon. He could be quite special in the years to come. He doesn't get to play at scrum half very often, Arthur Retier. Well, they'll take their victories where they can, will Racing. Ultimately, though, it's going to be a defeat. And Toulouse are about to end their semi-final nightmare from the last couple of years. Make it through to another final. Racing on the attack. Gibert up to the 2 metres. Trying to burst their way through, up to the 1 metre line. Forwards take over. Are they there? Monsieur Renaud looking around, and he's given the try by the looks of it. And it's the hard-working Ibrahima Diallo who will get up and pick up a pretty deserved score for him. He's been on the pitch all the way through the game, and well, that's a nice moment for him, even if ultimately it won't mean very much.
Consolation for Racing, but he is grafted. Ibou Diallo, real workhorse of a back rower. It's one of the first real opportunities that we can really say Racing have created front foot ball, pegged their opposition back, and then nailed the conversion and getting over the whitewash. Gail Ficou almost asking the question, where was this first half?
It's only his second try of the season for Ibrahim Diallo. Well, Gael Ficou has done everything he can. He came to Racing, didn't he, to actually take the titles that he hadn't been taken at Stade Francais. It was a controversial exit. It's not quite working for them yet. It'll be interesting to see what next season brings them. Chavancy has come on for Ficou. So the former captain takes over from the actual captain, Ramos. Pietro Moavaca makes no real ground. Flamand. Nanai-Williams. 2.5 minutes to go. In some senses, the pain is just being just prolonged here for Racing. Rebuilding job over the summer for them, Johnny.
Yeah, it will be new coach, new game plan, new templates to learn. Stuart Lancaster will be in beavering away learning French over the past 6 months as well. So look, it'll be interesting. Change and challenge for him, but also for the club, the direction they take and how they want to play. But Stu Lancaster comes in with a huge reputation, widely appreciated by everyone that's worked with him in the game at England or at Leinster. And I think he can make a big impact, a positive change at Racing and take them really to a more consistent and next level.
Racing trying to finish off this game with a little bit of a flourish. Forward by Donovan Tofafonua. Sadati Gomez Sarr
Il y avait le plaqueur qui gênait d'abord.
Met by a big hit from Toulouse. Finn Russell, he was determined to make a break at some point, but they will not let him through. Last minute and a half, and Toulouse again with the turnover. The story of their half. Oh, that's lovely. Little breakthrough.
Terminé pour Anava.
Retier. And there's nobody there. Oh, that's a great kick. A 50-22 from the wonderful Thomas Ramos.
What a game he's had. Skill set, composed. He's taken the right option effectively every time he's touched the ball. It's been terrific all season. For Toulouse, hugely appreciated as well by his staff here. But he's had an incredible night.
And he's one of the reasons why Melvin Jaminet is no longer really talked about as the full-back option for the French national side. Redefined himself as a full-back. And of course brings that fly-half variance with him. That versatility that is absolutely gold dust in a international tournament. Is there one last score here? The last few seconds for Racing, obviously not. Another knock-on, and really the game finishing off. Oh, hello, hello. One last try is coming right on the buzzer, and it comes from Francois Croce. The versatile back row forward finishes off a dominant performance from Toulouse, the 2021 champions, very serious about becoming the 2023 title winners. Just too good.
Absolutely worthy winners. They take one step closer, and they will make up one half of this year's top 14 final. But they've just been a level above today. Racing haven't stuck with them.
So then the game ends. A crushing victory in the first semi-final here from Toulouse as they win it by 41 points to 14. Racing will have to rebuild. This, though, is Toulouse's day, and now it's either La Rochelle or Union Bordeaux-Bègles in the final next weekend at the Stade de France. Well, Racing started off that game defensively strong, but once they conceded the first score, they were never really the same again.
No, look, I think when they reflect on that game, it's difficult because it's the end of a cycle, that's the end of your season. You know, never get to be part of that squad again. They'll have massive regrets because they didn't fire a shot, they didn't collectively come together and hold the ball. We spoke to Coach Rory Teague just after half-time. He said, look, just get to the 15-metre channels, hold the ball, test them and stretch them, and then spaces will come. But they just kept coughing it up. So Toulouse, pragmatic, took every single one of the opportunities, converted everything, and Racing, unfortunately, nothing.
So then let's talk to Juan Imhoff. So what are your feelings?
Le rugby, c'est surtout avant tout, c'est un sport très juste, très juste. Tu as ce que tu mérites, je pense qu'aujourd'hui, on mérite ça, même si on a tout donné.
It sounds like he's saying that it was very close at the beginning, and it's very hard to accept that. But we needed to be more serious. We needed to master the game a lot better than we did. But that's the reality of what happened tonight. So, well, I've been here for 5 years and I really want to play in the final of a top 14. It's not going to be this year, though.
Ça, c'est ce que peut-être les gens y pensent, mais on est à la place qu'on mérite. Je viens de dire que le rugby est juste. Si on est en demi-finale et que si on s'arrête là, c'est parce qu'on ne mérite pas plus que ça. Et du coup, il faut être honnête, il faut être humble, il faut savoir que voilà, il reste qu'une chose à faire, c'est remettre au boulot et essayer de retrouver un schéma pour jouer des finales de top 14. C'est pas facile, c'est pas évident. Je suis fier quand même de mon club de Racing parce qu'encore une fois, il est en phase finale. Ça part d'un gros effort. Un mot pour le staff, pour Laurent Travers qui va quitter le staff en termes de head coach. un petit mot pour eux, qui sont tout donnés. Ils sont tout donnés pour ce club. Et voilà, malheureusement, elle finit comme ça.
I'm afraid the sound is terrible in my ears and I'm not picking up exactly what he said there. I hope it's better for you.
Just at the start, he was saying it's just desserts. So,
oh, here comes Antoine Dupont.
Antoine Dupont just saying, really happy with the efficiency, pragmatism they showed, the ability to take points when they were on offer in the first period. He was also asked what it's like to come off, because he never comes off the field. He was like, you know, in the long term it's probably a good thing, so he's quite happy. And then just in general, the thirst for Toulouse to get back to the top level, to get back to Paris, their hunger to get back there and earn themselves their first title in a while, which will be a huge occasion now. They've earned the right to be there, to make that final at the Stade de France next weekend in Paris. And we'll find out tomorrow who they play against. Will it be